I'm Chip, and welcome back to a deeper dive. As we wander around Kamurocho as Kazuma Kiryu, our main protagonist, a Yakuza thug bumps into us and demands a fight. Of course, being Kazuma Kiryu, we defeat this random thug with our eyes closed. However, as we finish the fight, a voice calls out to Kiryu.
見とったでキリュウちゃん兄貴キリュウってそうや堂島の竜キリュウカズマちゃんや
This is our first introduction to Goro Majima. And from this point onwards, we know him as this unpredictable, balls-to-the-wall, knife-wielding maniac that we all love. From the Majima is Everywhere system, to the costumes that he wears, to the antics that he does, it all adds to his hijinks, which furthers our love for his character. I mean, he is everyone's idol Goro. In fact, Sega once did a poll, asking the Yakuza fanbase about what their favorite Yakuza character is. And, of course, the number one character of that list is the mad dog of Shimano himself, Goro Majima. So, if you were a longtime fan of the Yakuza series, when you get to play as him in Yakuza 0, the prequel series set years before the original Yakuza, it would have probably surprised you to see that our mad dog wasn't exactly that mad. He's calm, smart, and he has long hair. Of course, he still has his antics, but compared to how he is in basically every other game, he's way different. Which begs the question, how do you go from this
当店支配人の真島と申します
to this? In these series of videos, yeah, this will be a series, we'll find out exactly how. Without further ado, this is a deeper dive on Goro Majima. But before we begin, I'm gonna have to ask you to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want more content like this. Only 4.3% of you are subscribed, and you subscribing will help me out a ton with the algorithm, and hitting the bell icon will let you know whenever I post, so you never miss a video. After going through multiple chapters of the game as Kazuma Kiryu, we are shown the Cabaret Grand, Sotenbori's #1 cabaret. We head into the cabaret from the perspective of two businessmen, the chief who's new in town, and the other, a local man. As they head upstairs towards their seats, the chief is worried about the place, as there are lots and lots of Yakuza around this area. The local man assures him, though, that this place is completely safe. They sit down as the hostesses come to greet them, and the local man soon orders 4 bottles of champagne for each person on the table. The chief is in awe of the place, but has never really heard about it the last time he was in town. The local man explains that the club was actually down in the dirt before, but business started to really pick up when their management changed. Of course, the chief doesn't believe it, but the local man continues, saying that he poached the best girls from the other cabarets, and even did some underhanded things to bring the Cabaret Grand to the top. Even the hostesses agree, saying that the manager is famous, and everyone in the nightlife business knows about him. After hearing all about this one-of-a-kind manager, he wishes to hopefully meet the man someday. Just as the chief is starting to enjoy himself, a customer starts to grope the hostess that he's with, creating a situation. Even with a staff member calling the customer off, he still continues with his actions. As things start to escalate, the chief starts to panic again, even asking to get out. However, the local man isn't even one bit fazed, saying that it'll be over in a second. When asked how he could be so sure, he says,
出てくるからですよ彼が
And like a prophecy, a pair of steel-tipped black leather shoes start walking down the stairs. The staff members bow as a man in a black tuxedo and a ponytail steps to the front. Different camera angles show that the man wears an eye patch on his left eye, and as the camera pans upward, the face of the man is revealed. There's already so much to talk about! Alright, so, the scenes with the two businessmen sets the stage for us. They head into a bright and lively cabaret, with all the seats filled and a big band on stage playing music for the audience of the cabaret to enjoy. Even with all this, however, the chief is still worried about the nature of the establishment that he is in. knowing that the area that they're at is crawling with Yakuza. Even so, the local man assures him that the establishment is safe, stating that even mobsters behave in this cabaret. This tells us that whoever runs the place has a knack for business, as the cabaret is filled to the brim with paying customers. Also, the fact that even mobsters, aka Yakuza, behave themselves in this cabaret indicates that the cabaret has a way around, or perhaps even a strategy, to keep the rowdy crowd in check. The local man also reveals that the manager of the cabaret has done everything in his power to make his establishment number one, even resorting to poaching the best girls from other cabarets and doing things that shouldn't be talked about, eventually making the Cabaret Grand the number one cabaret in Sotenbori. The hostesses that accompanied the businessman also had some interesting things to say. They explained that the manager of the cabaret is famous, and that everyone in the nightlife business knows who he is. This gets us intrigued to find out who this man is, as well as finding out what his motives are to get the cabaret that was basically dead in the water to become as big as it is. Even before the man shows up, we can find out so much about him. From what is essentially an exposition dump done right, we learn about the place that Majima's part of the game takes place in, his place of work, his sense of business, what he's done for said business, and the respect that he commands in the world of nightlife. The only thing that we're not really too certain about is his way of dealing with unsavory people. All we know is that he can keep the mobsters, as the local man calls them, in check. Again, all of this before the man even shows up. The man starts talking to the rowdy customer. He thanks the customer for his patronage, which shocks him. The customer asks if he's the bouncer, to which the man responds,
よく間違われます。ですが、違います。
He reveals himself to be Majima, the manager of the cabaret. The customer asks mockingly if the place is run by Yakuza, but Majima assures the man that he is a civilian, even with the crude impression that he gives off. Majima then continues. He starts to reprimand the customer for his behavior, still in his calm and controlled state. The customer challenges him to try and stop him by force. However, even when challenged, Majima still keeps his calm, stating that he cannot do that, and that
お客様は神様ですから。
The customer continues to belittle him as he pours his bottle of alcohol on Majima's head and laughs. He asks Majima
どうや神様からのお恵みは
as if to slander him and his policy even further. Nevertheless, Majima stands his ground and even thanks the customer for bathing him in that brand of alcohol because he likes it so much. As he puts it,
おかげさまで夢が叶いました。
This angers the customer, who tries to hit Majima with the empty bottle. Majima, of course, dodges every attack the man tries with ease, and repeats an earlier request, asking the customer if he has had enough fun for the night. Majima tries to warn the customer, but the customer, of course, wouldn't listen. To put him in his place, this is what Majima does.
おう一丁景気のやれや そこまでお客様がお望みならこの真島僭越ながらお相手いたしましょう。ただし私からは一切手出しはいたしません。何しろお客様は神様ですから。
まだそんなこと抜かすかなめおって
さあショータイムや。
This is one of Majima's most iconic lines, and that's in part due to the build-up towards that scene. The moment Majima is revealed to us, he already has a commanding presence, not necessarily out of fear, but out of respect and hospitality. He thanks the customer for his patronage and stands his ground when belittled by him, even going so far as to thank the customer for showering him in his favorite booze. When I first watched this scene, I never really feared for Majima's life. Even when the situation is going south, I knew that Majima would wipe the explore with this customer's face if he wants to. But he doesn't do that, instead choosing to honor his policy of the customer's king to the fullest extent. Using every honorific in the book, asking the customer to calmly leave. All of this is his way of controlling the situation. And when things are building up to a fight, he instead asks the band to play him what is essentially a battle theme. What he's doing here is making a spectacle out of a bad situation. And this is the answer to the question of how he deals with rowdy customers. The payoff to the question that we have had from the very beginning, answered in a breathtaking way. And guys, we aren't even finished with the scene. During the dance, we are shown through gameplay that Majima is quick and nimble in battle. And of course, we are still in the cabaret. So, Majima's heat actions are all just him trying to calm the customer down, even offering the man a wet towel to sober himself up. Majima quickly deals with the customer in an elegant fashion, and even when the customer is armed with an ice pick, he quickly disarms him and judo throws him to the ground. With the rowdy customer on the ground and in pain, the crowd applauds Majima, and the staff members try to take the customer to the cops. However, Majima tries to plead with the crowd, asking them to have compassion for the man. Instead of having the man be taken away, he asks the man to pay for everyone's bill for the night. The customer, being the head of sales of a pharmaceutical company during Bubble Era Japan, meaning utterly rich, agrees to pay for everyone's tab, trying to make amends for his mistakes. The crowd applauds Majima once again as the situation is settled, as the local businessman from earlier reveals his nickname.
Cabaret Grand の支配人、真島五郎。蒼天堀の夜の帝王っちゅうやつですわ。
This is where we see Majima's business savvy mind. With all the customer has done, Majima has the full right to bring him to the cops. But he doesn't. Instead, he opts to have the man make peace with the crowd, asking him to pay for everyone's tab. This benefits the cabaret in two different ways. Number one, the customer doesn't get made a criminal, which in turn could have him return as a paying customer once again, with him being, quote-unquote, satisfied, for lack of a better word, with the customer service. And more importantly, number two, with the man paying for everyone's bill, it will increase the night's profits, as everyone will start to order even more because they're not paying for it. By making sure that the paying customer doesn't get criminalized, he guarantees a huge profit for the cabaret this night. It is no wonder how he could bring a cabaret that wasn't relevant to become the #1 cabaret in Sultanburi. His nickname during this era is also very interesting. Compared to his nickname, the Mad Dog of Shimano, Lord of the Night is more elegant, more dignified, more graceful. Instead of instilling fear into people, he shows hospitality and respect. One doesn't get simply called the Lord of the Night on a whim. This shows us a face of Majima that we have never really seen before, if you are a longtime fan, of course. All of this paints a picture to who Majima is at this time. He's calm, collected, business savvy, and has long hair. Of course, over the course of the game, we see him slowly evolve to what we know of him today. Tune in next time when we'll be discussing how Majima lives in Sultanburi, as well as how he got there in the first place. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I just want to say that my last video suddenly got hit by the algorithm and has got like, 2,000 views in the past week? So, thank you guys so much for getting that video to that point. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it because I enjoyed making it. And to all the new subscribers that joined, welcome! I hope you enjoy your stay as I ramble on about things that I like. I also would like to apologize for the delays in videos because I've been getting ready for university. But don't worry, I have a bunch of video ideas in store for you guys to enjoy very soon. In the meantime, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. I appreciate every single one. Also, comment down below about what you think of Majima's intro in Yakuza 0. I'd love to hear your thoughts and I will do my best to respond to every single one. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Remember to stay kind and stay chipper.